Sagittarius, this is your astrology reading for the month of February. And so this is going to be most applicable to your rising sign, but your sun sign and your moon sign, it is also going to relate there as well. And so understanding these different components. So the sun sign, the one you're most familiar with, is how you express yourself. It is your vitality. It is what you seek in this lifetime in order to feel fulfilled. And so the rising sign is the one that you do have to run your birth chart, and you do need to know your time because the houses do change signs fairly frequently throughout the day. And so that's why that matters. But your rising sign is how other people perceive you. And all of these forecasts are based on your rising sign. And so that one is going to be the most accurate. And then your moon sign, just to kind of round everything out, is your emotions. So really understanding how you're going to internally process everything that's happening here. And so right away, kind of jumping into it a little bit, we have a lot of Aquarius energy in February. Not a surprise, we're in Aquarius season. So we had the sun move into Aquarius in January, so January 20th. We also had Pluto move into Aquarius, and that one was a really big deal because that's shaking things up. It is breaking down old structures that just don't work for you anymore. And so for you, this Aquarius energy is actually impacting your third house. And so your third house is siblings, short distance travel, communication. And so you might already be feeling a lot of these changes in your life in that respect. And that is the Pluto and Aquarius energy. Aquarius is a liberator. It is, if you think about it, it doesn't like structure, so it will break down any structures that you've put in place, but it's not breaking them down just to break them down. It's breaking them down because they don't serve you anymore. And so there's no need to hold on to it in the way that you have. And so really kind of keep that in mind as I talk about the energy of the month, because it will show up pretty frequently here. Even when we start to talk about Pisces energy, Pluto and Aquarius still showing up. And so we have the sun, we have Pluto in Aquarius. And then on the 5th, we have Mercury entering Aquarius. And so that's going to happen at 12:10 in the morning. And so I'm in the Eastern time zone. If this is Pacific time, then it's going to be the night before. And so, or another time zone, just really adjust for your time. So we'll have these three planets all in the sign of Aquarius. So Mercury, Pluto, and the sun. And so this is a lot of liberating energy. Mercury is going to be conjunct Pluto, and so Pluto is transformation. And so what changes need to take place? How are you understanding how all these changes are taking place and really what the impact is and why they needed to change? That's the Mercury energy. So Mercury is communication, but it is also processing information. And so when it comes to things like short distance travel, your siblings, or how you're communicating and what you're communicating, you might have noticed some structure changes happening here. And really what's happening is just any kind of obstacles, barriers, anything that's prevented you from kind of moving forward, any limitations or restrictions, they're being lifted with this energy. We'll also have Mercury conjunct Mars. And the interesting thing about this transit is that Mars isn't in Aquarius yet. It will be later in the month, and so it'll show up again. But for now, Mars is sitting in the sign of Capricorn, which is sitting in your second house of finances. So when it comes to your finances, Mars and Capricorn, what actions are you taking? What strategy are you trying to employ for yourself? What are your long-term goals when it comes to your finances? And then with Mercury sitting in the third house, what is it that you're now understanding about this? Oh, maybe there is a connection between communication and your personal finances. So what is happening here? What kind of conversations are you having? What kind of conversations do you want to have? Is short-term travel required in order for you to get, or maybe further, any kind of investment goals that you might have for yourself? Because this would be your personal finances, not money that you're receiving from an outside source. This would be money that you already have. We'll also have Mercury square Jupiter during this whole Mercury entering Aquarius. And so what's going to happen here is there's a connection between your house of communication, that third house, and also Jupiter in Taurus, which is occupying your sixth house. So your sixth house is your daily routines. And so when you think about your daily routines, trying to maybe grow or solidify, create some sort of stability within your daily routines, how does that relate to maybe short distance travel? Your siblings, communication. So what's happening here and how does that relate to your daily routines? Is there something here that needs to change? Are you really thinking about, okay, well, what structures have been in place? Like, what is it that needs to be really modified here? Because that Aquarius energy, again, very liberating type of energy. And so this actually could indicate some maybe innovative ideas coming to the surface because it is the house of communication and because Mercury is the sign of communication or the planet of communication. So just kind of keep that in mind. We'll also have Mercury sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so Mercury, again, still sitting in this house of communication, short distance travel. And now there is a correlation to exactly what it is that you want. So Neptune in Pisces is all about the dreams that you set for yourself, the goals that you set for yourself. Neptune in Pisces is occupying your 4th house. And so your 4th house is your house of home. And so when we talk about these two together, what is it that you want to do? What kind of communication do you want to have? How does that relate to your home life? Short distance travel, how does that relate to your home life? Are you thinking about moving? That would be an indication here. And so Mercury sextile Neptune, sextile would require some action, but this is Mercury. So you might just be in the thinking stages right now, but this, just kind of keep in mind that there's something around maybe your dream home or your dream home life, that and how it relates to your communication, short distance travel, things like that. On the 9th, we'll have the new moon enter Aquarius. And so that's going to happen at 5:59 p.m. Eastern time. And so when this happens, we'll have the sun, moon, Mercury, and Pluto all in the sign of Aquarius, all sitting in this 3rd house for you. So all sitting in that communication, short distance travel, your siblings. And so right away, we've got, because it's a new moon, we have the moon and the sun in a conjunction. And so with this conjunction, this is about expressing yourself, but this is also kind of like a liberating expression of yourself. And again, it's really being emphasized here as an expression because it is in your 3rd house, because it is the house of communication. And so really kind of focus on that energy. And so that's the sun and the moon together. But now the sun and the moon are actually in a square to Uranus and Taurus. And so Uranus is a planet of kind of sudden upheaval. And so when you think about it in terms of tarot, it is the Tower card. And so sitting in your 6th house of daily routines, Taurus is like, what do you value in your daily routines? What needs to change within your daily routines? Is there something with traveling as it relates to your daily routines that needs to change here? Is there something maybe with your siblings that needs to change here? Any kind of communication? So really kind of focusing on just the interplay of these two and how they relate to each other. Taurus is a very grounding, stable energy. So if you've had any blocks to feeling stable in your home environment, there is something being highlighted here in your 3rd house. Like this would be the communication that would help you create the stability in your home life. And so we do have more transits happening at the same time. And so we'll also have the sun and moon trine the south node in Libra. And so the south node is an eclipse. So it's a mathematical point in the sky. So we are in Aries Libra eclipse season. So this is the south node in the sign of Libra. South node in Libra is going to feel very comfortable to create some sort of harmony here because that's what Libra does. Libra brings things together. And it's going to be in your 11th house of community. And so when you think about your sun and your moon, so you're creating this, you're expressing yourself, you're expressing who you are, what you want, things like that. Now we've got this connection, and it's an easygoing connection with this south node in Libra. So expressing yourself within the community, maybe improving your standing within the community. So there's this really kind of positive kind of momentum within the community and how you're expressing yourself and how you're being received by other people. And so your community would be the people that you choose to be around. So just kind of think of it that way. It's not necessarily your family. It could be more than your family. It's your friends, it's your coworkers. It's the people that you want to be around outside of work. I will point that out. And so we'll also have the sun and moon sextile Chiron in Aries. So again, the sun and the moon still sitting in this house of communication. And then we have Chiron in Aries. So Chiron is an asteroid. It is the wounded healer. So it's going to bring to the surface something here that needs to be addressed. Aries does indicate that you would need to take some action here. We also have a sextile, so this also indicates some action. So when it comes to expressing yourself, there is an opportunity to heal this Chiron in Aries. Chiron in Aries is sitting in your 5th house, and your 5th house of creativity. So have you had trouble in the past, or maybe have felt like you could not express yourself in a creative way? Like maybe you're an artist and you've always had to suppress this type of energy. And now you're sitting in this realm of just kind of given that freedom to be able to do it. It does require you to take action in order to heal this wound. And so there is something here that you need to do in order to heal whatever is happening here with this 5th house energy, this creative, this pleasure pursuits energy. That 5th house energy is children, it's short-term relationships, it is hobbies and passions. It's all those things that you enjoy doing for fun. Then we have Mars enter Aquarius. So that's going to happen on the 13th. It's going to happen at 1:05 in the morning. And so we'll have Mars, Sun, and Pluto all in the sign of Aquarius, all sitting in this third house of communication. And so right away, Mars is going to be conjunct Venus, but Venus is not yet in Aquarius. It will be in a few days, but it's not yet. So Venus is sitting in Capricorn. And so this is about structure. Capricorn energy is about creating some sort of plan for yourself. What does that long-term plan look like? Venus, what do you value? What do you want? What do you love? And with Mars, what actions do you need to take? Is there some sort of communication that you need to take in order to further what it is that you want to do, this Venus and Capricorn energy? Venus in Capricorn is sitting in your second house. So now we're talking about your personal finances. So what is it that you want to do with your personal finances? And then what kind of communication do you need to have in order to get what you want? We'll also have Mars square Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. And so again, we're talking about your third house communication, and Jupiter and Taurus, we're back to your daily routines. And so with Mars, what kind of actions do you want to take in order to improve your daily routines, in order to align yourself and your actual physical daily life with what you're trying to accomplish here? Because there is definitely an interaction between these two. And so if there have been any barriers to creating this kind of stable, consistent, if that's what you're looking for. Consistent can mean different things to different people. It can mean like every Wednesday I do this, I don't know, pottery class or whatever it is. And so if you're trying to create something from that perspective where it's something stable and it's something solid and it aligns with what you want, what you value, there is going to be something here with maybe short distance travel. That would be an action that you would take. Or maybe some sort of communication, and that would be maybe like discussing, this is what I want to do, and enrolling in that kind of class. We'll also have Mars sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so again, we've got your house of communication. We've got Neptune in Pisces. So Neptune in Pisces is about going after your dreams. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. This is, again, very similar energy. Think about all of those kind of really pie in the sky dreams that you might have for yourself. And this is related to your home environment. And again, so like, what do you want? Like, what is your ideal home environment? And this would be just the life that you have outside of work. And so we've got this Mars in. Mars is going to require action. It's a sextile. It's going to require action anyway to be activated. So there's this opportunity that's going to present itself for you to take action on what it is that you want to do. And so again, think about this, because Mars is in this liberating energy. So what changes need to take place in order for you to have the home life that you want to have? Because you're really being given the green light here to go after what you want, but it does require action. And then Mars is going to be conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. And so again, anything here from a liberating standpoint, any changes that need to happen, any kind of, even if it's something that's like out of the box, like you never even considered this before, but now that you've thought about it, this makes a lot of sense. And I want to do this in order to have the home life that I am dreaming of. That would be the energy. So that was Mars entering Aquarius. We'll have Venus enter Aquarius on the 16th, and that's going to happen at 8:05 in the morning Eastern time. And so when this happens, we'll have Pluto, Mars, Sun, Venus, and Mercury all in your third house. That's a lot of energy sitting in this kind of rebellious type of energy. So that's what the Aquarius is. And so right away, we'll have Venus is entering. We have the Sun that is about to move into Pisces. This is creating a little bit of friction between Venus, what you want, what you value, the Sun, how you're expressing yourself, how you want to express yourself. And so there is a little bit of friction here around that. It's a small friction. Like, this is not going to be anything that's earth-shattering to you or create some sort of like huge obstacle for you. We'll also have Venus trine the moon in Taurus. And so what's going to happen here is we've got your house of communication sitting in the sign of Aquarius. We have the moon is sitting in Taurus. And so again, your daily routines. Now this is from an emotion standpoint, your daily routines. How do you want to feel in your daily routine? Like, what would make you happy? What would make you feel content from that perspective? Taurus, the things that you value. So think about that, what it is that you value. How does it make you feel? What changes need to take place? Because again, Venus is actually the ruler of Taurus. And so we've got Venus, so there's this kind of happy energy between your communication of what you value, what you want, and in your daily routines, what you value, what you want. And so it's really about creating this energy that gives you just kind of the go ahead to allow any kind of barriers, any kind of restrictions that have been in place, any structures that just don't work for you anymore. This is the time that they're going to come crashing down. Venus is also going to be conjunct Mars. And so now, where we saw it before, a couple days ago, where Venus was conjunct Mars, but they were in separate signs. Now they're in the same sign, they're in the same house. And so this is about taking the action that you need in order to get what you want. You've already figured out exactly what you want to do. Now it's about taking the action to make sure you can get there. And this is really about, this could be that innovation. This could be that out-of-the-box thinking. This is about that liberation. And so what structures still exist that need to come down in order for you to get what you want? And then what needs to take its place? Because that's Mars energy twice. Then we have Venus conjunct Pluto. So again, what needs to transform here? What needs to be torn down so that you can be open to starting something new or creating something new or going down a different path? So really think of it that way. It's kind of removing those limitations that have been in place. We'll have Venus square Jupiter in Taurus. And so again, it's about what you value and in your daily routines. What is it that you want to grow within your daily routines? Where do you see success? And so there's a lot of energy around really focusing on what you value, what you want, and how do you achieve that in your daily routines. And then, of course, with your communication, is that the number one driver here? It does feel like that's the number one driver here. There might be other areas where it's not. But for the most part, it's coming down to your communication and processing information. We'll also have Venus sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so again, we've got your house of communication. We've got Neptune in Pisces in your fourth house. And so Neptune in Pisces, what kind of home life do you want? And so now we talked about this with Mars. Now we're talking about it with Venus. And so there's this emphasis on what you value, what you want, what's going to make you happiest. Really focusing on that. It does require action. So this is something where if you have these dreams about maybe the type of house you want, or buying a house or selling a house, change of residence, whatever this is that you need to do, or whatever it is that you want to do, it does require action on your part, but you're being given the green light. It's showing up multiple times for you. So a lot of kind of similar energy throughout the month. And then on the 18th, we have Sun entering Pisces. And so that's going to happen at 11:13 p.m. Eastern Time. And so we'll have the Sun, Saturn, and Neptune all in Pisces, all sitting in your fourth house of home. And so right away, the Sun is going to be trine the Moon in Cancer. The Moon in Cancer, so the Moon's at home in Cancer. This is a very motherly, very encouraging type of energy, very supportive. And so Cancer is sitting in your 8th house, or it occupies your 8th house. I like to see the Moon in Cancer in your 8th house when it comes to your home, because this indicates to me that you might be looking for, maybe it's a home equity loan, maybe it's a mortgage. That's what the 8th house energy is. It can be some sort of outside money. Maybe it's an inheritance. It would be something where you're getting money that you don't currently have. That's what the 8th house represents. It does also represent transformation. And so that might be part of it. There's other 8th house energies too, like it could be a death and rebirth. That's the transformation piece. It could be maybe something with power and control issues. I don't know if that's impacting your home life and you're making some adjustments here, because that Sun trine the Moon indicates to me that you're trying to fulfill your heart's desire, that you're really trying to go after exactly what you want here. This is an easy flowing energy. And so with that Moon in Cancer, is there something here that you are really trying to achieve? Because that could also be here, as well as intimacy. I mean, the 8th house has a lot of change connected to it. Change in a lot of ways. Your personal finances, your relationships, all of those things. We'll have the Sun conjunct Mercury in Aquarius. And so again, the Sun is going to be in your 4th house. Mercury in Aquarius is sitting in your house of communication. And so we're seeing, again, a lot of this energy around what it is that you want. How do you achieve it? So Sun in your 4th house, what kind of home life are you looking for? What kind of home life do you want to have? How do you feel comfortable in your home life? How does that align with what you're trying to do here? And then Mercury in Aquarius sitting in your house of communication. So what communication needs to change, or how does the communication need to change in order for you to get exactly what you want here? We'll have the Sun conjunct Saturn in your 4th house. And so Saturn is all about work. That is actually about structure. What kind of structures do you need to put in place around your home life that align with your life's purpose, that align with what you're trying to accomplish in this lifetime? That's that sun energy. It is about working on yourself in order to achieve the goals that you want within your 4th house. It does require work though. Saturn does not sit back and let things happen. That's Jupiter. Saturn does not let that happen. Saturn does require work. And so we also have the sun in a semi-sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. And so sun semi-sextile indicates to me, it's a very small friction here, that semi-sextile, but what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish in this lifetime seems to be a little bit at odds with this Pluto and Aquarius energy. So there might be some communication or maybe miscommunication when it comes to what you're trying to do in your home life, or there's just some sort of misalignment here that's creating a friction. So it's a minor thing. This is not going to be major by any means. If it's short distance travel, maybe the house that you're looking at is a little bit further away than what you would normally consider to be within the radius that you're looking, or if it's something along those lines, could be with siblings as well. And then on the 23rd, we have Mercury entering Pisces. So that's going to happen at 2:39 in the morning. So if you're in the Pacific time zone, this is going to happen the night before. And so this is going to impact your 4th house of home. Again, 4th house of home. So we can see that where this energy is kind of flowing into. Mercury is going to be conjunct the sun. This is about expressing your dreams, expressing exactly what it is that you want to do. How do you feel fulfilled with what it is that you're trying to do in your home life? We'll have Mercury opposite the moon in Leo. The moon in Leo is all about expressing yourself creatively, really understanding yourself from that perspective. And so Mercury sitting in your 4th house, the moon in Leo is actually in your 9th house. So 9th house is expansion. This could be long distance travel. So is there something here, maybe again with travel, where we might see a little bit of, this is a little bit further away than I was thinking, moon in Leo, but this feels really good to me. Feels very authentic to me. And so what is it that you're trying to accomplish from the type of home life that you want, understanding what it is that you truly need? That's the Mercury energy. Mercury energy in Pisces, so like really understanding your dreams. What is it that you're trying to accomplish here? And then moon in Leo, how do you go about doing that? How do you express exactly what it is that you want? How do you find a way to take this ideal home life and express it in a way that makes it a reality? Because we'll also have Mercury conjunct Saturn. And so Saturn, they're both sitting in your 4th house, so this is your 4th house of home. So Saturn is about come up with a plan. What is it that you want to do? What are you trying to accomplish here? Create a plan, execute the plan. Saturn does create limitations and restrictions, but it doesn't have to be that way. We've got Mercury in a conjunction here. And so Mercury, because again, they're sitting in Pisces. And so you have a real understanding on what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to accomplish. And so now it's about creating some sort of game plan, some sort of strategy that you can implement to really go after the goals that you've set for yourself, that ideal home life that you're looking for. We'll also have Mercury semi-sextile Pluto in Aquarius. And so there, again, a little bit of friction here between maybe the way that you're communicating and how that relates to your dreams of your 4th house. Pluto in Aquarius, again, you might be holding on to something here that just doesn't fit for you anymore. It just doesn't serve you. It doesn't need to be in whatever this next chapter is in your life, whatever you're trying to go after next. There's something about this energy that you might be resisting a little bit of this change. And that's the Mercury energy because you're kind of processing it that way. And then at the end of the month, we'll have the full moon in Leo. So that's going to happen on the 24th. It's going to happen at 7:30 in the morning Eastern time. And right away, we've got the moon. So the moon is sitting in the sign of Virgo. Virgo occupies your 10th house. And then we have Pisces sitting in your 4th house. And so they're going to be at odds with each other. These are going to be opposite. That's what a full moon is. And so there's going to be a lot of push-pull energy between your home life and your career. And so career with that 10th house energy, Virgo, you might be overthinking things or really focusing on the details, going inside, really thinking things through. That's the Virgo energy. Virgo likes to think, overthink. What details did I miss? Really a perfectionist type of energy. When you think of it from a tarot perspective, it's the Hermit. And it's not doing it just to do it. It's doing it because it's trying to understand, like, what could have changed? Where can I modify? What do I need in order to go forward? And that Pisces in 4th house is about what dreams do you have related to your home? And then How do you need, what do you need to change within your career in order to get the home life that you want? Is it creating a better work-life balance? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? We'll also have the moon opposite Mercury in Pisces, and it'll be opposite Saturn in Pisces. So Mercury in Pisces, again, fourth house energy. And so communication, processing information as it relates to your home life. The moon in your 10th house, what you're really trying to do is kind of figure out internally how you need to modify your career, what changes you need to modify, because this is a full moon. Full moons are all about releasing things. And so if you think back 6 months, what has changed? What started during the new moon in Virgo? So Virgo is end of August, mid to late September. And so there was a new moon in that time period, and something would have started. And so all of this kind of builds and builds and builds, and now we're at this culmination point, and something needs to be released because it just doesn't work. It doesn't work with what you're trying to do go forward. There's something about your career that you instinctively feel just isn't working for you anymore. And maybe it's the hours that you're working, maybe it's the effort that you're putting into it needs to be modified in some sort of way. Like maybe if you put a little bit more in, you can get the increase in salary that'll get you the home that you're looking for, or put in the extra work to get the promotion, to get that increase. Something along these lines, because there is definitely a connection here between that 10th house energy, so that career, and 4th house, and definitely as it relates to work, because we'll have moon opposite Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn is about the work that you're doing. And so maybe here it's about work-life balance, but maybe it's about working out of your home. Maybe that's something here that needs to be modified. Maybe there's too many days in the office or not enough days in the office. It could be something along those lines. We'll also have the moon trine Jupiter in Taurus, and so this is going to impact your daily routine. And so when it comes to your career, as it relates to your daily routine, how does all of this work together? Because this is really coming across more as work-life balance, or making some sort of modification to your work schedule or to your work environment, maybe the type of work that you do. This could indicate maybe you're looking for a career change that provides you the home life that you dream of and the daily routine that you want. And that's really what it comes down to. So Sagittarius, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.